Hello there. We're back. Of course, this is James Pirana Madonna of Mega Life 21, the hardest hitting internet talk radio station on the planet. And I'm coming to you live from the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey. And this is Discussions. And while the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, my co-host and mentor, is chowing down on his lunch, I will do promo and continue. I want to apologize to all of our viewers for having to watch this show once again, like in the past, in more than one video, because for some reason, I don't know if it's YouTube or if it's the internet or some unseen force, for some reason, when we attempt to put the show in one large lump sum video, let's say the show like last week, the one about Anthony Weiner's Wiener, and America was never a Christian nation. Last week's show was about 2 hours long. It took over a 24-hour period. It only got up to like maybe 50% upload, and then it froze. It eventually mysteriously froze and had to be eliminated in terms of the upload had to be canceled. So something is screwing with us. So I realized if I cut the video in half, then it uploads. So I apologize for you guys, for you fans out there, having to watch our shows in part 1 and part 2. But we have to do it. You know, probably Beelzebub trying to sabotage our agenda. But let me do promo. This gentleman next to me, I know I say this every week, this is a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist. You can see the William J. Eisenman collection by going to www.newslettercensored.com or going to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile, which is another good way. Unfortunately, something's going on with Facebook, and they're asking you to log in just to see somebody's photo album. I don't know what is with that. Like if you put a link on Facebook onto your website, it asks you to log in. If you go directly to your business promotion page on Facebook from, let's say, the browser, then you go right there and you can see it. But if there's a link posted, you gotta log in. I don't know. I don't know if it's Facebook. I don't know what it is. But anyway, check out the William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art. If you see something you like, email Dr. Bill and see if it's available. And the bidding starts at $500 each. Now, let me go right to the backbone of our organization. Newsletter Censored, founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It is based on the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. There is more information in this newsletter than there is on our talk shows or on our websites. It's the type of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? Go to www.newslettercensored.com, read all of the hard-hitting information, click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. You need Newsletter Censored to learn how to defeat a conservative. We are living in the end times, people, and you need Newsletter Censored to survive the end times and to learn how to defeat a conservative, which is the soldiers of Satan. The soldiers of Satan and the devil's economics is the conservative version of free market capitalism. Being that Satan is the father of all lies, they have lied to you people. They have lied to the middle class. The Dick Army Tea Party movement has lied to the middle class.
They lie to get elected?
They lie to get elected. The progressive liberals are much closer to the God of the Bible than conservatives, which do not know the Bible at all. because everything about them is greed and money, and God is the opposite of that. God tells the rich to give to the poor and help the poor constantly throughout the Bible. But of course, right-wing conservatives that are supposed to be closer to God than we are, than us secular, progressive, humanist liberals, if they're closer to God, then how come they don't know the Bible? Well, they're hypocrites. They are the counterfeit Christians that the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman speaks of in the God Project, which you can hear every Sunday from our Mega Life 21 hard-hitting internet talk radio station every Sunday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, that's it. Newsletter Censored. Get it now. There is a brand new issue coming out, and this is a real good one too.
The editor.
It's at the editor. It's a real good one, and it's titled, like I said before about last week's show, it is titled, I believe, America Was Never a Christian Nation. America was never a Christian nation. And it proves to you, it will prove to you why America was never a Christian nation. Forget about that Yankee Doodle dandy, flag-waving patriotism, God bless America, Kate Smith, big bloated Kate Smith singing God bless America. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. The capitalism, American capitalism, and the way they want to colonize the world for profit, you know, turn the world into a feudalistic oligarch, a corporate plutocracy. How can that be a Christian nation? You know? But anyway, there's been a rally in Trenton recently. More people are becoming more ticked off at our conservative, bloated governor, the obese balloon boy Crisco Christie. More people are finding out the hard way that they should not have voted for him. But I don't know, they didn't really have much of a choice. I mean, it was either re-electing millionaire John Corzine, who really is, you know, is an elitist. I mean, the thing about the Kennedys, okay, they were rich and of course Democrat, but they did a lot of things to help the poor, right? Ted Kennedy, JFK and all that. I mean, you know, I guess they were sort of carrying on the FDR tradition in their own way. And you know, but this guy, what John Corzine was, you know, property taxes were still very high back then, and he ticked off a lot of people in terms of, I think the homeowners got tired of being strangled by high property taxes. And
yeah, well, under Christie they didn't get any homestead rebate.
Christie took
which
away,
made up for a little bit that they were paying, overpaying, whatever.
Yeah, Christie took away the homestead rebate for everyone, and including retired people and the handicapped. And,
elderly and the disabled,
right.
Yeah.
He wants to close food pantries, and I guess soup kitchens would be included, so the poor can die. And you know, look, eventually, because we are living in the end times, eventually they want to enslave the poor and turn us into slaves. So, but there's too many of us, so you know, they want to starve out, or you know, kill off the bulk. They want to sort of trim the fat, like they like to call it, in a, you know,
or put in jail.
Yeah, and they just they feel that like that head of state told the doctor from Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory, the infamous episode that was removed, right? Was that that wasn't the FEMA camps. That was the other episode. Where the doctor was told by a head of state that there's too many of the world's population is too large, and there's too many of us
sucking away their resources,
consuming their natural resources. The Earth's natural resources are automatically claimed by the elitist, forgetting the fact that the Earth's natural resources belong to God, and God says to share the resources. So okay, the elitists feel that it's their natural resources, and you know, and they want to cull the herd, so to speak. They want to, like, just like the conspiracy that they are spiking the world's drinking water, bottled drinking water supply with a chemical that will make people sterile, so the poor cannot reproduce. But, you know, I was telling Esmeralda, it's up to the individual to make the decision whether or not they want to drink something that will make them sterile. You know, ingredients should always be disclosed so you can make the choice of whether or not to consume it, not to sneak it into something. You know?
Hey, that's honesty. Corporations don't have honesty.
Fairness, honesty.
They're underhanded to get their product out there.
Yeah. So
Look at the fight's been going on with Coke and Pepsi for how many years? And
now,
both of them are crap.
It's all crap. Now, ill-gotten gain, according to conservative Republicans, is not a sin, but Democratic ex-Congressman Anthony Weiner, you know, trying to get a little cheap thrills. Oh, that's like horrible. You know, I mean, it's like it was never proven that he committed any crime. But what about all the conservative Republicans that have done much worse, involving crimes of greed and money or misuse of tax dollars? And, you know, I mean, that's not a sin. That's not bad. But, you know, because a Democrat does something trivial, it has nothing to do with his job performance, mind you. Okay, what Anthony Weiner did has nothing to do with his job performance, just like what Bill Clinton did with Monica Lewinsky, shooting his little his scum guppies all over her dress. That has
soiling her blue dress.
Soiling her blue dress. That has nothing to do with his job performance. Now, Anthony Weiner, I hear,
maybe it enhanced his performance because it relieved stress, tension.
That's right. When you shoot your when you empty your flapjacks, you relieve stress and tension. But Anthony Weiner, from what I understand, was a very effective congressman, and he did fight for the little guy tooth and nail.
That's why they don't like him.
Just like I thought the former governor of New Jersey, Jim McGreevey, was a very good governor, even though he came out of the closet and he resigned and admitted that he was gay. I don't think that has any bearing on what he did as, you know, as a governor of New Jersey. I thought he was a very good governor of New Jersey, and I would have stood as I would not have resigned, and I would have let the citizens of New Jersey and I guess the state house and senate, whatever, let them decide whether or not they want to impeach a political leader for being gay. I would not have backed down. Okay, I would have stood my ground. I said, you know what? Prove that my personal life, my sexual preference, plays a factor in me doing my job as governor, and then impeach me. Do it that way, but I won't quit. I'm sorry. But anyway, this is what the Republicans do. This is what the conservatives do. They make a big stink about anything that has to do with sexuality. Now, heaven forbid Anthony Weiner should have a fetish. You think they would have a bigger field day if Anthony Weiner was into spanking or foot fetish, or let's take spanking or you know, bondage and spanking.
Indeed.
That doesn't involve hurting anybody, you know, like maiming anybody.
Oh, the feminists believe that. They believe that it's abuse.
Okay, now my answer to conservatives and religious nuts, you know, like a Christine O'Donnell, Christine DeWitch O'Donnell, or feminists. My answer to them is, what about the woman? Is she being forced at gunpoint to do porno movies, or is she
I don't believe in consent,
or she's volunteering as a consenting adult to do with her body what she wishes, and to do porno for money, or maybe she does it for money and she likes it. Maybe she's just a horny person. And there's nothing wrong with a consenting adult choosing a lifestyle, as long as it does not involve minors and it does not involve killing anybody or permanently injuring anybody. And that includes a fetish, a sexual fetish. You know, so that's that. Okay. Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, I believe, are you finished with your lunch?
Almost.
Okay. So let me know. So, they're hypocrites. More or less.
More.
More. More than less. So that's the deal. Happy Faja's Day. Faja, from Austin Powers Gold member. Father's Day, 2011. Let me get this out of the way. Excuse me while I make myself useful. And make room for Dr. Bill's current newspaper articles so we can continue with discussions. Like I said before, I do apologize for our viewers to watch the show in multiple videos, because I don't know, maybe it's YouTube, we do use the advanced video uploader, but if it's hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours or more long, I would prefer to put everything in one show. It does make it easier, but damn it, it won't upload. It just freezes. I wouldn't mind if it took 24 hours and it uploaded, but it freezes. Anyway, continue.
AARP.
AARP?
Correct. The powerful lobby for older Americans was hammered Friday by fellow activists for refusing to oppose any and all cuts to Social Security benefits, a position the group says it has long held as a way to extend the life of the massive retirement and disability program. AARP, which has 37 million Americans as members, adamantly opposes cutting Social Security benefits to help reduce the federal budget deficit, said David Sertner, the organization's director of legislative policy. But for years, AARP has acknowledged that cuts to future benefits may be necessary to improve the program's finances, he said. Our policy for decades has always been that we basically support a package that would include revenue enhancements and benefit adjustments to get Social Security to long-term solvency. However, the issue gained major notice on Friday as White House and congressional leaders continued to negotiate ways to reduce government red ink. Social Security has not been a part of those talks. Instead, negotiators have focused on potential cuts to Medicare, the government health insurance program for older Americans. In the midst of that, the Wall Street Journal quoted AARP's long-time policy chief, John Rother, saying the agency was dropping its long-standing opposition to cutting Social Security benefits. The ship was sailing. I wanted to be at the wheel when that happens, the journal quoted Rother as saying. Sertner said the story was inaccurate, that AARP's views were long held. Nevertheless, the story set off a firestorm among Social Security advocates, who roundly criticized AARP as selling out seniors. Most advocacy groups oppose all cuts to Social Security benefits, even those that would affect only future generations, such as an increase in the retirement age. AARP is losing the confidence of seniors around the country, and not just seniors, but people of every age group. Ed Coyle, executive director of the Alliance for Retired Americans, said, ARP does not speak for all seniors, and on this topic probably not many of their own members. Eric Kingston, co-chairman of the Strengthen Social Security campaign, a coalition of about 300 groups, accused ARP of trying to win an influential seat at the negotiating table when lawmakers tackle Social Security. ARP is positioning itself as an inside deal maker that's open to benefit cuts, when in fact it should be educating the public about the need to selectively improve the one economic security retirement institution that works quite well.
Okay.
Even if one believes that some ground may have to be ceded on Social Security, it's a terrible negotiation strategy to signal a willingness to compromise before negotiations are joined. Now, we heard all the blah, 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 didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Did we hear anything about the fact that Social Security has nothing to do with the budget?
No, the military has...
It brings in its own money every year and is owed over $2.5 trillion by the United States of America, which are held in treasury bonds, the most secure investment in all the world.
Wow. It's still secure?
Well, it won't be with all this cutting to create jobs. How do you create jobs by cutting jobs?
Doesn't make sense.
Well, that's what all the Republican governors are doing in this state.
And if you don't discourage corporations from outsourcing, how do you create jobs with that?
And if the corporations and the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes, how can we include their money in saving Social Security?
You told me that trimming the military budget alone might cure the deficit problem.
Well, you could get about $800 billion from the military budget.
The overbloated military budget. But of course, politicians in Washington, especially conservatives,
they'll be perceived as being weak.
Yeah. No, but the reality is they're making money off the military.
There you go.
Companies that produce weapons, war profiteering, like Bush and Cheney did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, the middle class lemmings and fools that voted Republican last November, they don't know about such things. They don't do their research. They don't know. They just blindly listen to anybody who has charisma and is a politician with charisma in front of a camera, and they believe it. They suck it up because the politician preys on their most primary concerns, which at the moment, the primary concern of the middle class are two things, of course, lack of a job market and overtaxation, unless they lost their house because of a lack of a job through foreclosure. If they still have their home, their number one concern is property taxes, which are way too high, of course, for the middle class. So they prey on that. So the conservative Tea Party people use that as a way to get them elected. And meanwhile, they do not have the middle class best interest at heart. The conservative politician, they don't. They're all for the rich, just like my grandfather used to say.
The atheist philosopher and novelist Ayn Rand published more than a dozen books before she died in 1982.
Too bad she died before. I didn't have a shillelagh back then, but I would have loved to give her a good crack on the coconut.
Now, liberal Christians say another work belongs in Rand's controversial canon.
Work?
The 2012 Republican budget.
I hate to hear this.
House Republicans passed their budget along party lines in April,
God.
saying its drastic cuts to federal programs are necessary to prevent a deficit crisis.
What about taxing the rich and trimming the military? They didn't mention that, did they?
Taxes are off the table.
Because and some of the Democrats voted for this.
Yeah, I believe. Or it did, yeah, but they didn't need to, because the Republicans own the House.
Yeah, because they flat out lie about corporations creating jobs when they're not taxed. It's a big lie, but it's a lie. The reality is they're paid off by the corporations, which, you know, let's just get to the nitty gritty, to the root of the problem.
But they don't see that as corruption and bribery.
See, but Anthony Weiner frolicking is bad. Okay, all right.
But in a petition drive, video ads and websites, liberal Christians counter that Rand's dog-eat-dog philosophy is the real inspiration for the GOP budget and its author, House Budget Committee Chairman Paul Ryan, Republican, Wisconsin.
Now, Rand, would you call Rand a Machiavellian?
Absolutely.
Okay. Was it the ends?
The ends justify the means.
The end justifies the means.
She don't believe in altruism, being kind.
So Machiavelli...
It's all about the self.
So Machiavelli was like the father of the me, myself, and I generation, the get way of life.
No, that was the devil.
Oh, that's right. The original sin of pride, and me, and the me generation, and the get way of life. That was Satan's the originator.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a guy who is a rising Republican star, and who wrote the budget, saying he's read her books, and Washington needs more of her values.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian, you've got to ask some serious questions about what's going on here. In other words, they argue, you can follow Ayn Rand or Jesus, but you can't follow both.
No.
In novels such as Atlas Shrugged, the Russian-born Rand portrays American capitalists as heroes battling an encroaching government bent on milking their success. In non-fiction writings, Rand is more explicit about her objectivist philosophy, which views religion as a primitive sop to the feeble-minded masses.
I feel sorry for the man that was she a widow, or I mean, was she an old maid, or did she ever get married?
I believe she was married.
I feel sorry for her husband. What a bitch.
No shit.
What a bitch.
Tea Party Republicans have embraced Rand's writings, particularly Atlas Shrugged, which some argue foretells the Great Recession and Washington's extraordinary efforts to end it. Rush Limbaugh, former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan, and Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas all call themselves Rand fans.
Sure, of course.
Biographer Ann C. Heller says Rand was raised as a secular Jew in Russia at a time when Jews were persecuted by the Russian Orthodox Church. Early on, Rand decided that the existence of God and the Christian ideal of self-sacrifice were untenable ideas. It must be either reason or faith, Rand said in a 1979 interview. I am against God for the reason that I don't want to destroy reason. Rand saw her materialist philosophy and Christianity as incompatible and hoped to undermine Judeo-Christian ethics. Rand's anti-religious views, however, are not as well known as her novels. By highlighting them, SAP and liberal Christians hope to discredit the GOP budget. and drive a wedge between the conservative Christian and Tea Party wings of the Republican Party. To that end, Mr. Sapp, who has directed faith outreach for a number of Democratic campaigns, is promoting a video in which evangelical leader Chuck Colson warns Christians to beware of Rand's idolatry of self and selfishness. I am no fan of big government, but there are far better ways to critique it than Rand's godless nonsense, especially for Christians. More than 6,000 people have signed a petition asking Ryan to put down Rand and pick up a Bible.
Yep.
Ayn Rand's philosophy of radical selfishness and disdain for the poor and struggling is antithetical to our faith values of justice, compassion, and the common good. The petition reads, the American Values Network video, which Sapp said will be emailed to 1.2 million Christians in Wisconsin, opens with anti-religious remarks from Rand and segues into Republican leaders, including Ryan and Senator Rand Paul, Republican of Kentucky, offering high praise of the Russian novelist. Rand, more than and by the way, Rand Paul is named after her.
Oh, gee, isn't that wonderful?
Ron Paul named him after her. Because parts of Ron Paul believes in parts of her libertarian philosophy too. Rand, more than anyone else, did a fantastic job of explaining the morality of capitalism.
Oh, yeah, she did. Morality? They call it morality.
And the morality of individualism, Ryan says, in a 2009 Facebook video.
Oh, God, boy.
Excerpted in the ad.
Would I have loved to crack her on the coconut, on the noggin with Michelele.
It's that kind of thinking, that kind of writing, that is sorely needed right now. Ryan's spokesman, Kevin Seifert, said, the congressman does not find his Catholic faith to be incompatible with his feelings for Ayn Rand's literary works.
Oh, boy.
Rand is one of many figures and authors that Congressman Ryan has cited as influencing his thinking during his formative years. Seifert said that Ryan has not seen the ads and so would not comment on them. Nor would Ryan offer an opinion on Rand's anti-religious statements. It's not appropriate for him to speculate on an individual's personal religious views. In a recent letter, Ryan sought to assure New York Archbishop Timothy Dolan, president of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, that the GOP budget aligns with Catholicism. Those who represent the people,
Catholicism, you mean?
including myself, have a moral obligation implicit in the church's social teaching before they explode into social crisis, Rand wrote in the April 29 letter. Now that was all lies that he wrote in that letter, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
From what he wants to do.
Absolutely.
Ryan argues that his budget is informed by the Catholic principle of subsidiarity, which holds that large bureaucracies should not assume tasks best left to individuals. The GOP congressman also quotes the late Pope John Paul II, warning that government welfare programs can lead to inertia, overweening public agencies, and ballooning budgets. Did he say anything about that they might enrich the poor?
No.
I think that's what the welfare budgets was for. No.
To put money in the pocket of the real, true consumer.
Yeah.
The little guy.
So he can consume and eat
Yeah, but then who would?
And live.
Then how would they? How could the elitists maximize their profits? And who would be the consumer?
Well, that's the problem of economics. Economics, you can give all the money to one segment of the population. You can give all the money to another segment of the population.
Uh-huh.
Or you can distribute it fairly amongst the different segments of the population. You know, I mean, capitalism as we know it is not ordained by God. It's not the only way of treating your economic situation.
Hell no. It's really, it shouldn't be about politics and money. It should be about doing the right thing. And if you follow the Bible, you will be doing the right, fair thing. It's really simple. It's all in an oyster shell or nutshell.
Yeah, it's simple when you're talking outside of an ideology, but these people are locked into an ideology.
I'm trying to understand the psychology, aside from the influences of Satan, I'm trying to understand the psychology of greed. I mean, how much is enough? How much does one need to be happy in life? You know what I'm saying? At what expense? The nation, the environment, the planet, your neighbors, your fellow man, the poor. I don't understand this. I'm trying to understand from a psychological standpoint. See, I would never have the patience to be a psychologist, because I would get so pissed off and frustrated. Like if I had Chris Christie lying on my couch as my patient, I would probably throttle him with this shillelagh.
On the belly or the head?
No, the belly. I would force him to be my bongo drums. I would do like a music video.
Yeah.
No, that's steel drums.
Oh.
Actually, you like the steel drums.
Yes, I like steel drums.
Oh, I got to talk to you later on about something. Speaking of steel drums, did you ever hear that song that was on the on your slideshow of your paintings that I had to remove because of some of the visual quality of some of the paintings were blurry and I had to destroy it? But did you ever hear that song called Sounds of the Sun? A steel drum song?
No.
It was very, very enjoyable to listen to. I listened to just about every Caribbean steel drum song, and I thought this was really cool. I thought it had a nice sound to it. Okay, anyway.
J.W. Richards, a Catholic and author of Money, Greed, and God, Why Capitalism is the Solution and Not the Problem, calls Ryan, like many Rand admirers, a cafeteria Randian. I suspect the progressive Christians are confusing that point, he said. You can agree with Rand's critique of collectivism as enervating and soul-destroying without adhering to her overreaching philosophy. But Heller, the biographer, isn't so sure. Certainly you can believe that the state can't do everything for everybody. But if you are a practicing Christian, you also believe that it is our duty to take care of the least among us. And we know perfectly well from history that churches and individuals can't do that job alone.
That's right. That's right, brother. That's the conclusion of that? Okay.
Of that particular
now, I haven't decided on what title to give this show. I know that was a very prominent article, a very important article. Also, the one on Social Security was a pretty big one too. So you think I should do a blend and use the subject of like sabotaging Social Security, the evils of what's her name again?
Ayn Rand.
The evils of Ayn Rand.
A-Y-N-R-A-N-D.
I have to write it down. The evils of Ayn Rand hyphen sabotaging Social Security hyphen maybe Wiener continued. Because I think the Wiener thing is, what happened to Arnold's Bratwurst? We haven't heard about Arnold. Well, aside from the fact that Mildred Pena came out and spoke. That
Yeah.
kind of like it's old hat.
It's old hat already, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is old hat. I think there's nothing else to say.
Wienergate took over.
He banged her. He knocked her up, and it might be his kid. There's a good chance it looks like him, you know, and that's it. Maria Shraev went bye-bye. She go bye-bye. She left him, and that was that. But the Anthony Weiner thing is, especially when they show the photos, with him no shirt on and the white underwear. You know, the guy doesn't even wear Speedos or anything, or wouldn't that be? Oh, that would be worse if he had like these little.
Well, he's got photos of himself in the gym that he took.
Yeah.
And you can't really see, but I don't know if he's naked or if he's got Speedo or something on.
Well, I saw one photo. He wears these cheap ass white Fruit of the Looms or Hanes.
Oh yeah, that's the half erect one. You know, that's the big one. That one he accidentally sent to share instead of private.
Well, to be honest,
where they got the other ones, I don't know.
Well, to come to think of it, the cheap ass white old-fashioned Fruit of the Loom or Hanes underwear briefs are big enough to show your pecker, your periscope. So Anthony Weiner's wiener, I guess, if he wanted to show an erection, it would stick out more with the Fruit of the Loom, with the cheap ass white Fruit of the Loom.
Either his erection was only half, or he's got a small wiener. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Well, if you got a big schlong, and by the way, Brother Garino, Dr. Garino did say in one of his books that red Panax ginseng extract has been known to increase penis size in both length and girth. So, oh, by the way, that other shit you see on late night TV, I was told it's bullshit. Doesn't work. You know, like it extends, and invite and all that. Anyway.
Beset by a grim employment picture,
This will be the last one.
President Obama pledged on Monday to ease the way for businesses to expand hiring and offered assurances to an anxious public that he is focused on creating jobs. The top political issue heading into the 2012 election and the Achilles heel of the president. The sky is not falling, Obama said. But the president, in a state that he narrowly won in 2008, could not ignore dismal recent economic reports. Our economic challenges were years in the making, he told workers at an energy-efficient lighting plant in Durham, North Carolina. Now, instead of saying it was years in the making, why didn't he blame Bush?
There you go.
Why didn't he just come out and blame Bush? Because the Republicans and their supporters and enablers seem to have forgotten that. It's now Obama's economy. He owns it now.
He inherited the mess. He inherited the biggest mess in U.S. history. But of course it's to the advantage of conservative Republicans to blame Obama, because they're chipping away at the 2012 election, the 2012 campaign. I know I did not bring my slide whistle, but and any gems, any words of wisdom from Sarah Nalen Palin lately?
And it will take years to get back to where we need to be.
God, he goes back to the article. All right, continue.
Obama called for educating more high-technology workers.
Oh, God.
Announcing a plan to train 10,000 new American engineers every year through a public-private partnership. Well, how is that going to occur when Christie and all the other governors, Republican governors, are cutting support and moolah for schools?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the other day, where there was two incidents, I believe, where a girl was raped under the stairwell in one of our local high schools, and nobody saw or heard it because you know, a staff was cut. There was no security in the high schools anymore because thanks to Chris Christie, you know, everything. Listen, a lot of things will suffer in time. You'll see when you have a Republican governor cutting programs and state funding and everything and trying to privatize everything. Privatization has failed every time it was tried.
It is evil.
It failed with
why? You got to ask yourself. You just said before you're pondering, you're contemplating on this greed thing.
Yeah, the psychology.
Well, here's another thing you should ponder.
Psychology of greed.
Yeah, you should ponder and etc. Why do we want to give total control to corporations? Why are we on that avenue?
Why have a corporate plutocracy? There you go.
Yeah.
The devil's economics. Why? Now, and these idiot people, these idiot conservative Tea Party lemming middle-class people that voted Republican last November, they still believe that if you do anything to benefit the corporations, if you cut their taxes, it will create jobs. What assholes, what idiots. You people are jerks.
Well, that's because they end the sentence right there. The sentence should continue. They will create jobs in China, in Singapore.
Well, now it's China. I used to say China and India.
And India.
But I think India's jobs are now being outsourced to mainland China because they have a larger population.
They'll do it cheaper.
And they do it cheaper. You see what I mean? The bottom line, the bottom line, the bottom line.
It's a race to the bottom.
The bottom line, being obsessed with the bottom line is a race to rock bottom. So anyway.
He also held a high-profile meeting with top CEOs who make up his advisory jobs council, offering encouragement for several ideas, including a plan that could create an estimated 114,000 jobs by increasing energy efficiencies in commercial and apartment buildings. These jobs are not going to bring back the jobs that we lost.
No, they'll never come back.
They aren't coming back. We have to manufacture and create things that create the jobs here in the United States of America and put up tariffs to stop the cheap goods from coming in.
You know what some corporate ass kisser told me one time? This woman says, oh, the answer to the outsourcing problem is America has to be retrained. Yeah, retrained in doing what? Flip hamburgers? Deep fry chicken at Popeyes?
The visit to North Carolina illustrated the political high stakes for Obama. By focusing on jobs, Obama provided a counterpoint to his Republican critics, particularly the 7 2012 presidential hopefuls who were meeting Monday evening in New Hampshire for a debate where they were sure to draw sharp contrasts with Obama's approach on the economy. The stop in North Carolina was the first in a 2-day trip with major political implications. Obama was attending 3 fundraisers later Monday in Miami, burnishing his profile in the crucial battleground state of Florida. Today he planned a rendezvous with an important Hispanic constituency in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he was there for 4 hours, I heard.
Now remember, voters in Puerto Rico cannot vote.
I thought they have
Puerto Ricans in America, of course, can vote.
Yeah, but I think they vote annually for either to keep the Commonwealth or independence,
Well,
either or,
yeah.
or statehood.
Statehood.
Yeah, they have that. That's annually, right? They have that vote, either statehood, Commonwealth status, or independence. And if they vote independent, then they're going to be not only dirt poor, but also very, very, very corrupt government. It will be a third world country if they vote for independence. That's my take on it.
Voters of Puerto Rican descent make up a significant bloc in Florida. Eager to rekindle enthusiasm for his presidency, Obama told political donors that big changes don't happen overnight, as he tapped low and high dollar contributors in Miami.
Okay. All right. I just want to mention. All right, that was the last article because I did arrive at the Newsletter Censored Research Center late. But it was a good show. It was pretty good. I just want to say happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day 2011. And that's it. I mean, the weather's beautiful here. I hope you know, where the parts of the country or the world, well, they don't celebrate Father's Day outside the United States, but you know, I hope your weather is good enough to have a nice Father's Day barbecue this weekend.
Or to go out and make sure you buy your old dad some Old Spice.
Yeah, don't get Old Spice, the poor sap. Buy him something good. Get him like, you know,
a tie?
No,
a tie.
Fuck that. No, don't get him no fucking tie. That's all your father wants is a tie. If he's handy, get him like a Sears Craftsman power tool, or if he's handy. If he's not handy and, you know, he likes to play a sport, you know, golf, or get him something he can use. Get him something unique. Get him something nice. Or get him, buy him some nutritional supplements.
Ah, there you go.
Gary,
Can't go wrong with that.
Like Dr. Gary Knowles, a Phyto Power drink powder, or green stuff and red stuff. Something that will change his life for the better, his health. You know.
Or buy him a Dr. Bill painting.
Or buy him an original William J. Eisenman watercolor painting. There you go. And
or a subscription.
And a subscription to Censored.
There you go.
Let me show you. There you go. Hey, I should have said that at the beginning. Subscription to Censored, along with one of Dr. Bill's paintings. But I was gonna mention something else, but I ordered my vitamins. Basic nutritional formula, and I will be getting 500 soft gels of high quality vitamin A with D. But the only thing is I have to take 2 to get 10,000 units of A and 800. In other words, see, this is what kills me. I don't know what people vitamin companies hire, but why do they go so conservative with the A and D? Like, in other words,
they can sell more product.
You got one soft gel. Now, A and D is extremely important to the immune system and for your overall health. It's part of the basic nutritional program. But one soft gel has 400 of D, international units, and 5,000 international units of A. Now, you should take at least 10,000 A and, 800 to 1,000 units of D, right? So if you take 2, if I take 2, I'll be gaining 800 of D, which is good optimum dose, and I'll be getting 10,000 of A when I really should get like 25,000, or maybe. Well, you know what? 10,000 is not that bad. 10,000. Don't get synthetic beta carotene, by the way. It doesn't work. It's crap. But yeah, it won't be so bad, you know. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us for discussions this week. And we already decided what we're going to call the show. And oh, by the way, all of your watercolor paintings that you scanned and saved, are they in a folder somewhere?
My documents.
They're in my individually saved. They're not in a folder. Yay. Yeah, because I had to take down the slideshow to music because some of my copies were blurry. And I thought they were in a folder and then you could just put it on the thumb drive and I could take it home, but they're all spread out. This is why, you know, my computer teacher in school says it's very important to create a folder and store and categorize everything on your hard drive and give it names so you can identify it immediately and you know exactly where to find it, and put it all conveniently in a folder. Don't have it scattered all around. So anyway, look, thank you for joining us for discussions. Happy Father's Day 2011. Do something nice for your dad. Don't get him anything boring, you know.
Don't put flowers on his grave.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, if you're gonna put flowers on his grave, I would go to a hobby store, arts and crafts store, or a dollar store and get high quality silk, you know, artificial carnations are good for men. Yeah, roses, women like that. Yeah, get him some really pretty artificial carnations. Buy yourself a tube. Let's say he's in a mausoleum. I know this is very macabre. Buy a tube of clear glue called liquid nails. Liquid nails. And glue a nice bunch of artificial carnations. You know, pick out pretty ones and color coordinate them and just stick it on the marble of his crypt. Or if he has a headstone, make sure you put a lot of glue and stick it on his headstone. This way, when some cheap-ass crook decides they want to steal them, you know, they'll have a hard time getting it off. But do something nice like that. But if he's alive, like I said, buy him a painting, buy him a newsletter, get him some high-quality vitamins. You know, it depends. If he's a whining baby and he does not like to swallow pills and he cries about taking the vitamins he should be taking, and you have to get him a multi. You know which one impressed me a lot, honestly? A Country Life Max. They have Max and Maxine. Country Life Max for the crying, whining baby that does not like to swallow too many pills. Get him that, or better yet, just get him the Gary Knoll Phyto Power drink. All right. Take care. Happy Father's Day. Say so long.
So long.